Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tom Harris. I'm the MP in this constituency, and I am proudly voting no on September the 18th on the most important vote that we're going to have in our lifetime. Now, all the polls tell us that Scotland has never changed its mind from being a supporter of the Union. But we have to make sure that Alex Salmond's plans to destroy our nation are defeated on September the 18th. And I'm privileged and proud to have with us today one of our most effective campaigners, Jim Murphy, the MP for East Redfordshire, who as soon as he takes his jacket off, and I'm panning now, is going to be up here taking the microphone to explain why patriotic Scots will all be voting no on September the 18th. Jim Murphy.
That's why we'll be voting yes!
Well, hello folks, and it's lovely, really lovely to be here back in Shawlands. Hello, where are you from?
The Basque Country.
The Basque Country, you're very, very welcome. Now, as Tom said earlier, I'm Jim Murphy, Member of Parliament. It's okay, madam,
genocide.
And we're all...
Why are you supporting
the Israel, we all want the best for Scotland. I'm Jim Murphy, Member of Parliament, a colleague of Tom Harris. Delighted to be here as part of the campaign to support Scotland remaining part of the United Kingdom. And this is, of course, part of a tour across Scotland, 100 different locations over 100 days, because this is the biggest decision we're ever going to take. It's the most important decision we'll ever take as a country, and it's also irreversible. Now, I'm really pleased that many of you have come along. The gentlemen are there with their slogans, they're absolutely entitled to it, and the gentleman there is there with what? Jim Murphy, war criminal and supporter of apartheid. Either you or your friend here, maybe you can explain to the crowd how I'm a supporter of apartheid. No, I didn't ask you. I'm asking you, how am I a supporter of apartheid? Because when I was 12, my family immigrated to South Africa. That doesn't make me a supporter of apartheid. When I was 17 in the South African Army, called on teenage boys at that time to join the South African Army, I left South Africa. Not because I'm a coward, not because I'm a pacifist, because I wasn't serving in an apartheid army. And for you, sir, to stand there claiming I'm a supporter of apartheid is ignorant and sickening. Cardboard slogan of a supporter of apartheid. You're embarrassing yourself, sir. Don't trivialise our debate. Don't trivialise our debate about our great country by trivialising with allegations of apartheid. It's ludicrous, it's ignorant, and it demeans all of our debate. Now, despite this gentleman saying that I'm a supporter of apartheid, I'm willing to say that both sides of this argument love our country. We both just want what's best for it. And we have different views. We have different views as to what that would be. Now the gentleman here shouts, I don't want what's best for our country. As if only the people on the yes side of this debate have got a monopoly in the belief of what's best for our country. I don't doubt your patriotism. I don't even question your nationalism. It's your judgment that's gone to pot, sir. Not your patriotism, not your nationalism. Just your judgment. And madam, you should go off the road before the car runs you over. Even though you're voting the same, even though we're voting different ways, get off the road. You'll get run over.
It is a democracy. Let the man have his say.
Madam, that's the best heckle I've had. I don't mean you showing your bum, I mean jeopardising your own health on the road. Look, I want us to vote to stay part of the United Kingdom.
Why?
Not just because of our history. Not because the United Kingdom stood against the law against continental future, because we can still do great things together. Our country's not the United Kingdom, so your ass isn't one of the great things we'll do together. I don't want to be impolite, but your ass isn't one of the great things in this country. You can come round with me like this. You can say anything. You are not a man's ass, but one of the things about this country that is remarkable is the way in which we together built a national health service. All across the world, people look at our national health service with a sense of pride and a sense of envy. The gentleman here says the national health service is gone. What a load of nonsense. I'm proud of our national health service. I'm proud of the doctors and the nurses in our national health service. I'm proud of the cleaners, the home helps, the painters, the porters, the ambulance drivers. I'm proud of all of our national health service. And they're here. The man here, the nationalist here, heckles, the NHS is gone. No, it's not gone, sir. The national health service is safe. The national health service is safe. And it's up to us to not have constitutions on the nation. Have a function of I'd like to provide you with a wee bit of entertainment when you're having your smoke break. And I hope you'll mind the Scottish Parliament rightly voted for a smoking ban, which means you can come and watch this debate in public domain. Look, I think the fact is that we have the gentleman here. You probably can't hear over there when you're having your fag, but the gentleman here with his iPad who's recording everything. And you know what? This is a remarkable meeting. What happens? There's always people recording every word that I say. For today, there's not just one person recording what I say. There's a gentleman here, gentleman here, gentleman here, gentleman there. All for the Wings Over Scotland websites and all of that sort of stuff. And that gets you going. That's absolutely fine. And the fact is, absolutely, keep in focus, sir. Keep in focus. Keep concentrated. I get my better side. The idea that the National Health Service is gone, and the idea that somehow the way to save the NHS is to vote for independence. Constitutions don't save the NHS. Politics and economics and politicians save the NHS. The Labour Party founded the NHS. The Labour Party is proud of the NHS. They're totally against what the Tories are doing to the NHS. But the way of saving the NHS is by voting Labour next year in the UK general election. They're voting for independence this year. And then the gentleman here with his iPad says Labour voted for the bedroom tax. So I don't know whether you can go on the internet while you're filming me, but how many Labour MPs voted for the bedroom tax? None. Not a single Labour MP voted for the bedroom tax. The gentleman's heckle now is I abstained. You're wrong, sir. I voted against the bedroom tax 4 times. Okay, 4 separate occasions. And then the gentleman, someone else who popped in and popped out with his heckle and his shout said, how many voted against it? Every time it comes up, we've had a chance to vote against the bedroom tax. I voted against it 4 separate occasions. Again, though, how do you run the bedroom tax? You vote Labour at the next general election because we are voting for the bedroom tax. You don't need to change your passport. You don't have to change your passport to get rid of the bedroom tax. You don't have to change your nationality to get rid of the bedroom tax. You don't have to change your government rather than change your passport. And my final plan is this. I'm going down. I can't hear you. We will make a success of it. I finish with this. I want down again the patriotism of the other side. They shouldn't question our patriotism. We love our country. They got you. I will not be silent, and the quiet patriotic majority will not be silenced by the rest of
balloon, mate. That's my balloon. Unlucky, mate. That's my balloon. I'm going to bust your balloon again on the 18th. 55% no in the polls, my man. You can swing all the undecided you want and you'll still lose, mate. Unlucky. You're boss.
I can't hear you.
You're not very good at counting, are you?
I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
Have you answered the question yet? Have you answered the question yet?
You're having a lovely ask. What's your question?
David, you answered any of it?
I'm answering this one.
Keep saying it's national. That's what independence and
No, there's a very straightforward answer to that, sir. In terms of voice. The shipyard, Ferguson shipyard. 80 people lost their jobs today. That is a tragedy for every one of those families. The reason for it, sir, isn't to do with the United Kingdom. It isn't to do with the Scottish Parliament. It's got to do with Caledonia McBrain now builds its ferries in Germany and Poland. That's why that Ferguson yard and some of the smaller yards that would previously have built, serviced, maintained, Calmac built. So you asked your question, I'm giving you the truth. The reason being, I know you can replace an argument when you're losing one, sir. But the fact is, the shutting of that shipyard today, which is a tragedy for those 80 workers, terrible for their families and horrible for that community, isn't to do with politics. It's got to do with Caledonia and McBrain building their ferries now in Germany and partly in Poland, and then assembling them in Germany and then sailing predominantly off the west coast of Scotland. That's the reason for it. And I think it's pathetic on the day in which 80 people lose their jobs for you to come here and try and make a political argument out of 80 people losing their jobs. It's ridiculous, sir. Your arse is better than your argument. Your arse is nicer than your argument. Okay, who's next? Oh, no, yeah, of course. You certainly can, sir.
I work for a voluntary sector organisation, chair of two other organisations, one of which is national. And I work for a health-related voluntary sector. What concerns me...
Let the guy ask his question.
Hold on. Sir, you've come to heckle me, not this man. He's got the floor. I suspect...
No, let the guy ask his question. Shut it.
So you can get the question, so you can get on this website properly. I'm just trying to shut him up. Sir, this man's filming. Somebody might agree with you. I don't know. Let him speak.
What I genuinely want to know is for yourself and the No Thanks organisation, campaign, front, collective, whatever, what you promised to do, what you are going to do to protect the third sector in Scotland, which is of protecting the most vulnerable citizens. And I'm conscious of 90,000 children in Scotland in severe poverty and 220,000 in poverty. And those aren't any political campaign figures. They're figures from, I believe, Save the Children, the Children First, one of the two. What is No Thanks going to do to protect vulnerable citizens in Scotland in the face of what I have to say are swingy and terrible benefit reforms we have not seen in this country? What can you tell us that you're going to do to protect them? That's my concern.
Of course, now the gentleman, and I hope folk can give me a chance to respond to the gentleman's point, and this is good fun, good old-fashioned politics. I'm losing my voice. It's up to other people to decide whether I'm losing the argument. But the gentleman asked the point about the voluntary sector, who he rightly said are the cutting edge, are trying to help some of the most vulnerable people and those people who have been so badly affected, not just because of the recent financial crash, but years of disadvantage. Now, my starting argument, sir, and I don't know whether you agree with this or not, but it's my argument, and despite everything else, I've got a great respect for other people's arguments, and I'm just trying to have the same respect. But my argument is that this isn't a constitutional question. My argument is about political will and economics, and changing our status, our nationality, our passports isn't the answer to that very real question. Part of it, but not all of it, part of it I think is changing our governments. I think it's partly changing the government in London, and I may say changing the government in Edinburgh as well. I think that, as an aside, I think there's far too much centralisation of power and decision making both in London and in Edinburgh. I don't think that's good. I think that the CAB and all of the other voluntary sector organisations and volunteers that every constituency has, I can't imagine what our country would be like without all of those voluntary organisations and volunteers. It wouldn't be the civilised nation that we'll celebrate it being today. But for me, it's political will and money. And I think there's been far too many cuts in the voluntary sector, probably from London and also probably from Edinburgh. So I'm trying not to make a two-partisan a point, but you're right, our country is better because of the voluntary sector. It's unimaginable the state itself could replicate all that work, partly because they're so trusted. And at a time, I mean, there's a part of the voluntary sector I wish we didn't have to have, which are those remarkable people of faith and others who put together so many of these food banks. I mean, none of us want to see food banks, but and I know these guys, not you, sir, I know that, but some of the kind of people who are fiercely on the other side of the argument may wish to contort this. I despise food banks, but I celebrate the fact that some good people are willing to help out and try and make sure that children don't go hungry. But we shouldn't have to, in our country that has so much wealth, have that sort of problem. And it should aim for politics that is free of food banks, but not free of the spirit that makes good people volunteer to make them happy.
I'm saying it, and I applaud that in terms of it is terrible. There's such a need for food banks. The voluntary sector has stepped in. What really concerns me is that unfortunately you find yourself on the platform with other parties who see this as a moral crusade, which I find totally repugnant. We're at the front line and we see the poverty every day, but we don't have direct control over it. So for me it's not an issue of nationalism, it's not an issue necessarily of constitution, it's an issue of actually having power, however that may be about, and having the leverage and actually affect poverty and relieve poverty in this country.
Of course. Well, again, and we'll move on to some others, but you and I could talk. I would happily talk to you all evening. This other man. But the gentleman said, again, not unfairly, and I think I'm not going to put words in your mouth. You said, yeah, it's not all about constitutions, and it's about having powers. I hope you would accept two things. Firstly, the Scottish Parliament already has a huge power that they don't use. Now, I'm not in the Scottish Parliament, and neither is Tom. But the Scottish Parliament from day one has had a power on tax. It could vote to put up taxes. Every time parliamentarians in the Scottish Parliament say we'd like more money to do various things, they have a power, they've just chosen not to do it. It's a dormant power. It's been there since day one. But the second thing that's about to happen, and for me, having this, the prospect of a Tory government is a really dark cloud, but there's a tiny slither of silver lining to it, which is that whoever wins the next UK election has promised more powers for the Scottish Parliament. So that man can't see. So there'll be more power for the Scottish Parliament. My party, it will be tax power and welfare. And I think, hold on a second, I'm answering this man's question and you can do it. Okay, but on the welfare point, the tax power has been dormant since day one. It's been there, but it's been dormant. Welfare, they have no such choice. Welfare is an everyday power. You have to use it. And the Scottish Parliament will have that lever in a way that it's never had before.
Can I ask?
Well, I tell you, if whichever party wins the election, there's going to be more power. If my party wins the election, there's a guarantee that it will be tax and welfare powers. Okay. Come on, he says. Okay, hold on, this man's saying that we do in Britain. I'll come to that in a sec. But
can you categorically, my concern is, as I say, the poverty we face this can you categorically promise that post referendum, if there is a new vote, that you will welfare decision-making powers to the Scottish Parliament?
I wouldn't. This man with the iPad's arms are getting tired. So you okay?
You're going live, by the way.
Oh, brilliant! I'm going to be famous on Wings Over Scotland. Fantastic. The 200 people who watch are fantastic. I actually think the 200 people who watch are all over there shouting, so no one's going to be seeing it until they get home. But anyway, on welfare, which is a serious point, unlike this thing here. Absolutely. Yeah, on welfare, I would like to see really substantial substantial devolution of welfare. Now, we'll put the detail in our manifesto for the election, but I happen to think the welfare state is far too centralised. I think moving the welfare state to Edinburgh in the Scottish Parliament is not enough devolution. I want Glasgow to be in charge of Glasgow's welfare. I'd like Lanarkshire to be in charge of Lanarkshire's welfare. And so that in Glasgow, if the council, the voluntary sector and business community can get someone off a benefit and into work, why should that money go back to Westminster? Why should it go to Edinburgh? Why can't the city keep it? Why can't the businesses, the voluntary sector and the council come together and keep those savings? So I would rather welfare was designed in the communities in which people live. Far too much centralisation. Moving it from London to Edinburgh, Scottish Parliament's too centralised, so that's my point. Moving it from one capital city to another capital city isn't enough. We need to move it to the communities where people are most affected. Now, they'll come to me and say, now the gentleman over there shouted traitor. I heard that. I'm not sure if who it was aimed at. I suspect it's me again. Do you know, it's tiresome. I'm enjoying this debate. I started doing it because it's good old-fashioned politics. Too much politics is the kind of stuff spent on social media and all the other stuff. And I thought I would do the old sort of style of politics. But the problem is, you get this sort of stuff. You're a traitor. No one here is a traitor. We just have different views about the future of our country. I've never even said Scotland couldn't be independent. I've always said it's a choice about whether we should or shouldn't. My argument is that we shouldn't, because we have the chance to be richer, we have the chance to be more prosperous, we have the chance to be more powerful. If we're not, and more influential, but I accept nationalists take another point of view. That doesn't make a nationalist a traitor any more than it makes me, as a socialist, a traitor. Now the gentleman over here said we ruined our country. Hold on, I'm going to go to him, then I'll come to you, and I'll come to you, and then you. Okay, sorry, a lot of people hands up. Now, sir, come here, you asked if you said we ruined the country. Do you want to say what you wanted to say? It'll give me a wee break.
Gordon Brown ruined the country.
Why do you say that, sir?
400 metric tons of gold for a pittance, and he told them the markets where he was going to do it and all the rest of it.
And they plundered the pensions.
Correct, they plundered the pensions as well.
Independence won't change that, sir.
I know they won't change that. I know that. You can't
the lowest pensions.
You do.
You can't go that way.
All right, okay.
Unbelievable.
All right, we'll get a complete mix here this evening. Now the lady here. One lady here, sorry.
Right, I work in
Hold on a sec. Who shouted that? Which one of you two men shouted that?
Come on,
Was it you? A plant? Which one of you shouted on one of your plants? No, one of you did. No, we heard you. This happens wherever I go. Whenever someone doesn't wear a yes badge and they ask a question, particularly if it's a woman, men shout, oh, one of your plants, all across the country. These guys who are have got videos of every one of my meetings will have photographic evidence of men shouting plants every time a strong, independently minded woman has the audacity to ask a question. Just because someone's not wearing a yes badge doesn't make them a plan. Okay, we're fellow Democrats. Let's just have respect for one another's arguments. Then what is it you wanted to say? Do you mind being videoed? Do you mind being on the Nationalist website? Let's turn it off.
Okay, fair enough.
This lady's asked not to be videoed.
We're in a public place.
I'm sure she's asked not. Sir, this lady's asked. Sir.
That's absolutely fine.
Sir. This lady's asked not to be videoed.
Democracy says it when you can't take pictures.
Tom, you really going to just stand in front of us? Is that what you're going to do?
The woman asked to not be.
She never asked me.
Oh, ask her.
This lady doesn't want to be videoed, sir.
I'm not videoing. I'm videoing you. I'm videoing you.
Stop it.
I'm videoing you.
I don't mind.
I'm videoing you.
I'm up here.
I'm videoing you. Then I'm videoing you.
Just fine. What is it you wanted to say?
I'm a teacher in Scotland, and one of the things that's happened in the last 7 years is that class sizes have increased. The amount of budget that we have for supporting vulnerable children has increased. Without any shadow of a doubt, I'm a teacher for 32 years. And at this point in time, we have...
Hold on, that man's filming you again. Come on, mate. Hold on. Mate.
I know, Jim, go on with it.
Stop filming the women.
There's been one question.
Stop filming the women. She said she can lose her job. Just be quiet for a second. This lady said...
Is that you on a crusade now, Jim?
Hold on.
Is this a crusade now, Jim? It's all about the women. It's all about the women. Nobody will get film. You can film them anywhere in public. Anywhere in public.
This woman started by... This woman said if she's found to be criticising an employer, she might lose her job. Do you think videoing her helps?
She was already standing here, but she's seen all these cameras. She stood here and seen all these cameras and wants to moan about it.
Expecting to be videoed or filmed or on the internet?
How no? The cameras have been here for an hour. The cameras have been here for an hour.
Stop trying to intimidate the women. Alright, what's your point? What? Just let the women speak, sir.
Jim, have you told this cameraman here? Jim, have you told this cameraman here? You need to tell that cameraman there. No, to film. That's a wide angle. Oh, you don't know who I am. You don't know who I am. Hey, you don't know who I am either. Just move on. Just move on, Jim.
Well, the lady here is not going to ask a question, which is a shame. But she did say the kids in her school are better behaved than these guys with the cameras.
Is that it? Is that it? Jesus. Unbelievable.
What you want?
I want to ask about Vivo Max.
What do you want? On you go.
You said we've got a government tax.
Hold on, get somebody to film you. Hold on, you want to be famous.
Go ahead, film me.
Yeah. Turn around and film yourself. So you're on your website. There you go. I'm trying to...
Okay, Vivo Max, you told us 5 minutes ago we've got a tax raising power. It's laid dormant. We've not used it. Joanne Lamont was on Newsnight Scotland, and she said that rate would be put up to 15 pence. Greater powers, yeah. However, upon examination, it turns out that you can only raise the tax level and you can't set it lower than the UK level. Now, the guy on Newsnight Scotland says that arguably that's putting you at...
What's your question?
Is that tax raising power, not actually a power at all, because all it does, if we raise tax competition will send all the business down south.
Okay, I understand your point. Sir, stop heckling the guy who agrees with you. Okay? I can't hear his point for you shouting. And at one point you seem to be heckling yourself. You're the only person I've met in this entire tour, and this is meeting 48, who applauds his own heckles. I mean, that's a remarkable thing. I mean, a really remarkable thing. Congratulations. Now, the gentleman asked there about taxpayers. The Scottish Parliament should have more power, and it's going to have more power regardless who wins the next UK election. Now, the Labour Party will be about tax power and welfare power and the tax guarantee of it, the detail of which, of course, we'll set out in our manifesto. Now, does anyone else want to ask a question? Gentlemen here.
We're talking about more powers coming to Scotland.
You okay being filmed?
I know, can you tell me why Joanne Lamont was quoted 13th of April in the Northern Echo, the prospect of extra powers heading to Scotland
Okay, not everyone across the road can hear that. Not everyone here can hear it, but seemingly Joanne Lamont was quoted in the Northern Echo on the 13th of April. I'm saying something. I didn't read the Northern Echo on any day, let alone the 13th of April. I don't doubt it, sir. It'll be on some website, I'm absolutely sure of that. But the Labour Party will set out its position on all of these things in advance of the general election. But there's a guarantee of further powers for the Scottish Parliament, regardless who wins the UK general election. Now, I'll let this man ask a question and then we'll wind up. Hold on, this gentleman. Go home. Do you know, that's an unusual one, because what usually happens when people who disagree with me is go home to England. I don't know about Glasgow to you. Go home to England. So I will go home in a minute. I will go home in a minute, sir. Gentlemen, what's your question? What's your question? I have order. Sir, wherever I go. Sir, wherever I go. Man over there shouts I'm a traitor. Whenever I get caught, you're called a foreigner. Earlier today you told me to go back to England. That's my home. I'm going nowhere. I love our country. Just what's your question?
Tell you what, Jim, see the guy over there that's running that stall, he's English.
What's your... Okay.
On the subject of power, and everybody's promising, how can you say that everybody's going to promise us power when you've got Boris Johnson saying Scotland not going to get any power? He is undoubtedly going to be the next Tory leader and the next PM.
Now, the gentleman asked at the start, and you're a constituent, so I've got to be nice to you. I don't have to agree with you. I try my best. It's not always possible. But the gentleman asked, how can you guarantee more powers for the Scottish Parliament when Boris Johnson is going to be the next Tory leader? So, I think Boris Johnson is a joker. I think his rehearsed spontaneity is entertaining. The way in which he deliberately gets himself caught on that wire was pretty amusing. But I doubt he's going to be the next Tory leader. And it doesn't really matter, because the next government's going to be a Labour government, and Boris Johnson is going to be Prime Minister of this country, so it doesn't really matter, sir.
Oh, kid yourself.
And I noticed
Tony Blair, they're illegal law.
Cheer the idea of there being a Labour government.
They're pandering to blanket people.
They even want there to be a Labour government, because the Irish people don't even want to be part of the United Kingdom. That's absolutely clear. But the point on Boris Johnson, the point on Boris Johnson, sir, I don't think Boris Johnson is going to be leader of the Tory party. I don't think Boris Johnson is going to be Prime Minister. I don't think Nigel Farage is going to be a significant character in the next general election. I think he'll win a seat in the constituency. None of these are reasons to vote for independence. David Cameron, Boris Johnson, Nigel Farage are all temporary. Independence is forever. So I finish by saying, on the 18th of September,
You are going to be disappointed.
on the 18th of September,
We will wipe this land.
Stand up, be proud, vote no thanks, vote to stand together.
Give yourself that.